Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k battle report with me, Xenovids. And today's battle report is between Eldar and Tyranids. Now it's 2,000 points, so let's see how these two fare in our little tournament. So let's have a look at the mission type. We rolled a 2 today, which means it's Purge the Alien, which is kill points. The deployment type today, we rolled a 4, which is Hammer and Anvil. So, having a look at the gaming board, a lot of scenery on today, and a few ruined buildings, so quite an open area in the bottom left, and a hill. And in this corner is a ruined building that I've recently created. A tutorial video is on my channel for that. Then we've got a large two-story building. It's ruined with loads of overgrowth on it. A small ruined building in the middle. An Aztec-y thing in the near us. Some walls and a couple of barracks. So interesting terrain today. Let's see how much of that comes into play in the game. So I got to roll first. I went first. So the Eldar deployment. I've set some 10 Guardians with a Bright Lance, 10 more Guardians with a Bright Lance, Wraith Blades with a Spirit Seer, the Wraith Knight, a Wave Serpent with Fire Dragons, my Fire Prism, 10 Guardian Jet Bikes with a Warlock, 5 Reapers, and another Wave Serpent with 10 Dire Avengers. So looking at my Eldar's Warlord trait, I rolled a 3 and I chose the Strategic, and unfortunately that is Master of Ambush, where I wanted the Strategic Genius, where I get to reroll reserve rolls. Anyway, looking at the Psychic powers, my Warlock on a Jet Bike managed to roll a 1, which isn't too bad because Eldar get 2 Psychic powers for the price of 1, so I could either have a Strength 5 shot or minus 1 to weapon, regain a wound to a model if I want to. The Spirit Seer rolled a 3, and on this one it is a blessing or a malediction, basically giving models a +1 to their initiative and weapon skill, or minusing 1 to an opponent's weapon skill and initiative. So the Tyranids deployment. Massive swarm list. Both of these armies are my own and my own lists, so it's really interesting playing my own army. So we've got a Trigon Prime, 2 units of 10 Termagants, 30 Hormagaunts, 3 Hive Guard, 2 Winged Hive Tyrants, 1 with Lash Whip Bone Sword, 1 with Twin Link Devourers, a Tyrannofex, and 2 Tervagons. Also the Doom of Malantai in reserve. So looking at the psychic powers for the Tyranids on the Biomancy chart, Tervagon got Warp Speed, which we never used. The Winged Hive Tyrant gained Enfeeble, which means he can make a unit have -1 to their Strength and Toughness, which is a great psychic power. The other Winged Hive Tyrant had Endurance, which means he can give himself Feel No Pain and Relentless, and it will not die, which is another great psychic power. And the final Tervagon got Hemorrhage, which we didn't use the whole game. Unfortunately, didn't roll any Iron Arm, which is the best Biomancy psychic power in my opinion, but still a couple of good ones. So the Tyranids Warlord's trait, he went from the Command trait in the rulebook, and he basically got one where any enemy units within 12 inches must use the lowest leadership, which doesn't really matter in my army. Now, is it night fighting on a roll of a 2? It is not. And do the Tyranids steal the initiative? On a 1? Nope. So turn 1, Eldar movement. I basically didn't advance a lot. The Tyranids are coming to me, so I kind of kept everything back. I moved my tanks to get a little bit of a jinx save, moved my Wraith Knight over to get a better view of things, just so I can pop some models. So looking at my shooting phase. So the fire prism is aiming for those gaunts. Slight scatter, looks like, but there's so many gaunts, it can't miss. And it does hit one of the hive guard as well, and causes a wound to the hive guard. And now trying to wound the rest of the gaunts. Apart from one, all of them go down. However, it is a unit of 30, so it's going to be a lot more shots to take that unit down. So having a shot at the Tervagon there, trying to take it down, because when a Tervagon dies, any Tervagons within 6 inches of it basically have a chance to explode and die as well, which is great. So that'll be my tactic, taking down the Tervagon there. Other than doing, taking shots at the monstrous creatures and anything that's in range, really trying to just kind of whittle it down. It's not night fighting, which is great for me for shooting. So I'm just trying to take as much as I can down. Because once this army loses its synapse creatures and monstrous creatures, it's just a few gaunts on the table. So the Dark Reapers are now shooting into the Trygon Prime, trying to take it down. They have 2 types of shots. One's a Strength 8 AP free, which is the one I'm using, and the other is a Strength 5 AP free, but you get 2 shots with that one as opposed to the 1. So now trying to focus fire now and try and take down that Trygon Prime in turn 1. I've deactivated the Wave Serpent Shield, which means I get a D6 + 1 Strength 7 shot, as well as whatever it's got on him. However, he does make a few of those saves. So now the Wraith Knight is aiming for that group of gaunts there. Trying to take them down with a Scatter Shield. And because I hit with the Scatter Shield, I can re-roll all other shots. So it's Strength 6 AP 2 Blast, 3 shots that it has, I get to re-roll. Sneaky, sneaky Eldar. I do love the Wraith Knight. The way I've set him up is with a Sun Cannon and Scatter, Laser and a Shield, and it is 300 points, but in all the games I've played with it, he's always made his points back and always done brilliantly. I would recommend Wraith Knights, or 2 if you're feeling adventurous. So now rolling to wound with everything. Everything wounds, which is great. So I've caused a wound on the Tervagon, a wound on a Hive Guard, 4 wounds on the Trygon Prime, and a lot of gaunts, which is great. So going into turn 1, Tyranids movement. He's doing these regeneration rolls, needing a 6, and he doesn't manage to get any of them. And here, he's birthing Termagants, but because he rolled a double, he doesn't get to birth any more. However, he did roll highly, so all the gaunts I just killed, basically the same amount come back, which is frustrating and scary. I'm starting to see how this list that I've created is quite dangerous. So this endless swarm is advancing up the table towards my Eldar. A blue tide across this grass world. Turn 1, doing and shooting. So the Winged Hive Tyrant is shooting at the Wraithblades. Now needing 4s, but it is twin linked, which is great because a Winged Hive Tyrant only has a ballistic skill of 3, so twin linked is always great. It's strength 6 and their toughness is 6, so it needs 4s to wound, and they have a 3-up armor save, and 1 goes down immediately. The Tyrannofex is shooting at the Fire Prism and fails to do anything. And the Hive Guard are shooting at the Wraithblades as well. They have a Strength 8 AP4 weapon, which is 24 inches and doesn't need line of sight and ignores cover. unless you were actually in the cover. So rolling the armor saves, and 2 more go down already on turn 1. So these very expensive models that only have 1 wound have gone down again. Now turn 2 Eldar movement. My Crimson Hunter comes onto the board, which is great because he has Skyfire being a flyer, and I'm just rearranging my models to get a better aiming, better chance of shooting. So now I can kill the Winged Hive Tyrant. I just need to hit. He has 3 wounds left on this Winged Hive Tyrant. And I caused 2 wounds. That is devastating. I was hoping to take him down and get a Warlord and First Blood. I need to take him down because he is far too close to my army. So all I need to roll now is 6s, because all Eldar Shuriken weapons on a roll of a 6 to wound are AP 2. So now firing a pop shot at the Tervagon in the distance. And causing another wound. Now trying to take the Trigon Prime. He's only got 2 wounds left, so it shouldn't be too difficult with a Strength 8 AP 3, because the Trigon Prime only has a 3-up armor save, and he does indeed go down. Now firing on these gaunts with a large blast, which scatters slightly, but still is able to take down a lot of gaunts, excluding the scatter dice. Quite a few gaunts. So now deactivating the shield and firing all weapons at the Winged Hive Tyrant, needing a 6 to hit. And failing miserably, and doing the same again. If a flying monstrous creature is in flying, on a roll, you need to hit on a roll of a 6. However, if you do hit it, it needs to make a grounding test, which is on a 3-up. If it fails, it is immediately grounded and takes a Strength 9 hit against itself. Unfortunately, throughout this entire game, I didn't manage to ground any of the flying monstrous creatures. And we'll see how devastating that is later on in the game. So now I'm just trying to take down some of his Synapse creatures as much as possible now, just to try and hinder his advance. However, I'm not getting as many wounds as I actually hope I would. So going on to turn 2 Tyranids movement. The Doom of Malantai comes onto the table. Doom of Malantai is a very tricky model. He has a special ability that in any shooting phase, yours or your opponent's, any of the foe's models that isn't a vehicle that's within 6 inches has to take a leadership test on 3 dice. The number that equivalates to these dice rolled, if it is higher than that unit's leadership, that unit then takes a number of wounds. So if the leadership is 10 and you roll a 14, you lose 4 wounds. No armor saves allowed, so it's very devastating. So as you can see here, the Tyranids have advanced and the Doom of Malantai is here. So rolling the leadership check against that unit there, they pass on 3 dice, which is excellent. The second Guardian unit need to rolling at 8. Fails, so lose 4 models. And the Doom of Malantai then gains the wounds it takes away from opponents. So he's on 8 wounds now. So now the Winged Hive Tyrant is shooting at this Crimson Hunter. Twin linked, twin linked, twin linked. Strength 6 against armor of 10. So he's going to be needing 4s to glance. And there's quite a few glances and pens, and I try to jink out of the way and I fail, so he explodes, scatters back onto the Hive Tyrant and my Guardians. Against the Hive Tyrant it does nothing. Against my Guardians it does something. So 1 dies from that. The Tyrannifex is shooting at the Fire Prism again, needing 4s, hitting with 1, needing 2s to glance, and glances it. So now he's with the Hive Guard trying to take down the Wraith Blades and the Spirit Seer. And takes one of them down. So now the Doom Manatai is firing its large blast shot, which is equal to its strength, and its strength is always equal to its wounds. So right now is a strength 8 AP 2 blast. So as you can tell, quite a few models have just been killed. There they go. Bye. Oh, and the Doom Manatai gets to plus those wounds to itself to a total of 10. And now we're just working out the ones against the Wraithblade and the Spirit Seer. So I'm going to Lookout Sir them. 1 Lookout Sirs, 1 doesn't, so I'm going to roll the saves. 4 up invulnerable for both of them. That one's fine. And on the Spirit Seer, that's fine as well. So he's up to 10 wounds. Scary. In turn 2, Tyranid assault phase already. In turn 2. So trying to overwatch his assault, fail, go into close combat, and he wins and makes one of them fall back. Turn 3, Eldar movement. So moving the Wave Stepper up, just slotting stuff around, trying to get a better angle to take down that Winged Hive Tyrant. So going on to the shooting phase for the Eldar. Trying to take another pot shot at the Tervigon there. And again causing another wound. Doing more shots against him. And yet more shots against him. I'm really trying to take him down. Firing a pistol at the Winged Hive Tyrant. And I managed to do nothing. So this unit of jet bikes needing freeze against the Winged Hive Tyrant. Quite a few freeze going through. And running the rest of them there. Needing 6s to wound him. And any 6s, because they're shuriken weapon, are AP2. And there are 6s there. So he goes down. Because in this edition, so far, Tyranids don't have an invulnerable save. The Winged Hive Tyrants. So, firing scatter lasers and its sun cannon at the Tervigon there. Can the Wraith Knight take this monstrous creature down? Causing a few wounds. And a few more wounds. And it doesn't manage to kill him, but I'm firing my last shots with the Wave Serpent there, right at it. Trying to take him down. And I cause that final wound, so any Termagants within 6 inches have to take 3d6, strength 3, AP dash hits. So, quite a few. I think there was a total of almost 25 wounds against him altogether. And it decimated that side of the field completely. So as you can see, there are a lot that have gone, however, not enough. So firing some shots into the Doom Manatai, trying to take him down as much as possible with the rest of my army. Unfortunately, he's a toughness 4 model with a free up invulnerable save. And I don't have anything that can instantly kill him really. So with 10 wounds, it's pretty difficult to take him down. So we're trying to take some of these gaunts down, get some more kill points, and halt this advance that is coming my way. And failing miserably. So turn 3 Tyranids movement. He's almost upon my Eldar models, with most of his monstrous creatures still alive, and quite a few gaunts left to take down. So going to the shooting phase, the Doom of Malantai does his special ability and manages to look like it doesn't do anything really, which is great. Makes me happy. Now firing at the Wraith Knight. Wraith Knight is strength 10, 8, and has a toughness of 8, which is great. It's like a mini Titan. A mini affordable Titan. And he loses a wound. So the Winged Tyrant firing its weapons at the Guardians, trying to take them down and make them fall back off the table, because they are quite close to the edge of the table. But he only does a few wounds, which I then fail to make. So they do fail. However, I make their leadership. So the Doom fails to do his Psychic Blast against the bikes, which is devastating for him because he could have taken down most of that unit. And now he's trying to assault me, and I get to Overwatch. But he fails miserably. So turn 4, Eldar movement. My Fire Dragons come out, hoping to take down that Winged Tyrant. That's they can see in their sights. Everything moves away from the Doom Malantai and lines up their shots to take him down. The Wraith Knight has moved over to try and take down the Tervigon. And the Dire Avengers have come out of the Wave Serpent, trying to take down some some Gaunts. Even. So turn 4 Eldar shooting. Firing a pot shot at the Winged Tyrant there. It hits, needing 2s to wound and take him. And it wounds, but he maces Feel No Pain there, which we didn't catch on camera. So the Fire Dragon is now firing. Unfortunately, I failed to hit with half of the shots, and now all I need is 2s to take him down, and I miss with 1. So now, trying to take him down with the Wave Serpent. More and more shots firing into this Winged Tyrant, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to shoot more at the Doom of Malantai, and now I fired so much into the Winged Tyrant, I've lost sight of the models that are going to take down a lot of my army. So I just fail against the Winged Tyrant completely. So I use the Wraith Knight to try and take down the Tervigon, hopefully make that explode and make the Tervigons explode, and I get re-rolls on his small blast, and trying to wound him now. And is it going well? It's going brilliantly, but he has so many wounds he doesn't die. So now trying to wound the Doom of Malantai as much as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have the amount of shots to take him down, and he makes all his invulnerable saves. And he's only down to 9 wounds, really. So now firing with all the jet bikes, and I whiff the roll very muchly, and only get 4 saves, and he makes them all. So now I try and get an easy kill point by taking down 4 of the Gaunts from 1 unit, and I do. So now my last unit that's able to shoot really is shooting at this Winged Tyrant, because if I don't take it down, he's going to take down my tank or my Fire Dragons, and I managed to take it down. So going into the assault phase, I try and assault the Tervagon, needing a 4, and I get a 3. So going into turn 4 Tyranids movement, he advances as far up as he can again, puts the Tyrannifex around the corner. Tervagon is looking to munch down on the tank, and the Gaunts are looking to jump on the Dire Avengers. The Doom Manatai now gets to do his special ability because it's moving in to the shooting phase, so I need to make a leadership test. And I make it! So moving into the shooting phase, the Hive Guard firing through the building are shooting at some of the jet bikes. A good amount of hits. Now needing 2 wound. And then I get my free up armor save against these. And I make them. So now shooting at the Dire Avengers. Try to whittle them down so that they can assault them. And rolling their 4-up armor save. 1 goes down. So now trying to shoot some of the Tervagons into the Rift Knight. The Doom is firing his giant strength 9 now psychic blast of Doom and needing 2s to wound, and I need 5s because I've got a 5-up cover save, and I make them all but 1. In fact, scratch that, I only make 4 out of the 5. So this is a trait of this game. We tend to whittle a unit down, but never really taking them down in the turn we want to. It just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. I'll have a few kill points, he'll have a few kill points. We'll equal kill points, I'll have a few more, he'll have a few more, we'll equal. And that's how this game has been running so far. So now trying to take down the Fire Prism. He's 2s because it's devastating, and he does it, and he explodes the Fire Prism, which is huge for the Tyranids. Fire Prism is so versatile normally. So good. He's gone. It's a devastating blow for the Eldar. So now moving into the assault phase, I get to Overwatch, a couple of hits against the Gaunts. And so they make it into combat. And let's see how they all do. So now I get to go first because Dire Avengers are initiative 5, and Tervagons are initiative 4. So he's needing a 6-up armor save, and he makes one of them miraculously. So now he attacks me back. And he takes 2 of the Dire Avengers down. I do pass their leadership test though, so it's a stays in combat. So he tries to take down my Wave Serpent, but only takes 1 hull point off. So moving around, I'm just trying to take down his Tervagon, ignoring some of the Gaunts and the Tyrannifex in the corner there, and ignoring the Doom. I just want to focus on taking this Tervagon down. However, his psychic power takes 3 of the Guardian jet bikes down, which is again quite devastating. The Doom Manatai is an excellent cheap model, which is very, very dirty and cheesy. And all Tyranids player love him. So the Wave Serpent trying to take down some of the wounds on the Doom of Malantine. Getting a few wounds, but not really doing anything to him again. Now firing the shuriken weapons from the jet bikes onto the Tervigon and taking him down, which is excellent. So now he has no more Synapse creatures on the board, which is great. It means all of those creatures are going to have to take leadership tests and instinctive behaviour tests, and hopefully go the Eldar's way now. Because with that Doom of Malantine, it's going to be pretty tricky to prevent more kill points for the Tyranids. So now going into close combat for the Eldar in turn 5. And again, being pretty close. I in fact lose more models. So going into the movement for the Tyranid, a few instinctive behaviour tests, and he passes them all. He actually passes them all. And no, they aren't cocked dice. So now he's trying to shoot into the back of the tank because they have strength 4 weapons. And the back of the tank is armour value of 10. So he can take him down, but he does a couple of glances. So now firing at the Guardians in the corner. It's getting pretty close now with the kill points, and he manages to take them down. The Doom Malantine manages to take down the Warlock and 2 of the jet bikes and the final Dark Reaper. Hive Guard around the corner are shooting at the Wave Serpent. And I managed to make the Jinx saves. And he immobilizes the Wave Serpent. Drown Effects does nothing to it. And he's gone to try to assault the jet bikes, so I'm going to overwatch them, obviously. Needing 6s. And then needing freeze. Freeze. Yes, freeze. So 1 wound, and he goes down. So now going into the assault phase of the Dire Avengers again. He loses 1 model, and he attacks back, and I lose another model. And now I'm multi-assaulted with the Doom Malantine and the Gaunts. So I'm doing a few attacks against the Doom, and I fail to wound him. He has a few attacks against the Gaunts. He freeze. And then 4s. I managed to wound 1. And he fails, so he's lost 1 Gaunt so far. Doom Malantine fights back. He has 1 hit. Fails to do anything. And the Gaunts now are going to fight back. They've got quite a few attacks now. However, they are only strength 3, and I'm toughness 4, so he is needing 5s. Not a single one. However, does the game end? I rolled to the game end, and it's a 3, so it continues. So turn 6, this is the overview of turn 6. So these jet bikes die to the Doom of Malantine. I've moved some stuff around. move the Wraith Knight closer to the Tyranids. I'm now hoping to take down these Gaunts because at the moment they have Line Breaker if the game ends. So firing their melters. Unfortunately I miss with a couple and I only take down 3 of them, which isn't enough to take down that unit for a kill point and prevent Line Breaker. So I'm trying to take down these Tyranids for a little bit more of a kill point to add security to going into close combat with the Wraith Knight. So now I'm trying to take down some Gaunts and only take down 3 of them with that Wave Serpent. Now we're speeding it through because we were starting to run out of time. I wanted to finish this game because we found this game was really fun and enjoyable, which was great. So now shooting the Sun Cannon at the Tyranids. Getting a few hits, then a miss, and then I re-roll, and it goes back on himself. But it doesn't manage to wound himself, and he takes down the Tyranids in close combat. So this is how the board looks at the end of the game. Not a lot of models left from either side. The game does end on turn 6, so we count up the points, and we find out that Eldar have 10 and Tyranids have 12. So there we have it then. A win for the Tyranids. A great game, a very enjoyable game, very nail-biting. And in the grand scheme of things, very interesting. Because in our little tournament, it now means the Tyranids have got quite a few points racked up, with 2 wins. And the Eldar have won most of their games now. The Tau have won 70% of their games. Grey Knights have lost all of their games. Space Marines have lost most of their games, and Chaos Space Marines are averaging 50-50 really. So in our tournament it's looking like the Eldar, Tau and Tyranids are doing extremely well. So the next game is going to be quite crucial because we're coming to the midpoint of our tournament. So to see more battle reports from our tournament and more tutorials about terrain and other things from myself, check in on my channel, and I hope to see you again very soon.